Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Piglet here once again and I'm back for some more of the Maxi Toys videos, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS, and PC, and even the arcade machines, at least as far as back in 2011 it'll go, and also the iPhone version. So, yeah, last video we've gone through the Monkey Cup, and we did manage to done it no problem, despite the last race due to the this really last damn curve that always really throws me off at points. But in the end, I managed to go in first place in almost pretty much everything. So yeah, today for this point, folks, sorry for a little bit of a quiet side going on here. Welcome to the extra video of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. Now, as I mentioned it to you guys before, that this game actually includes DLC, specifically if you ever owned the Xbox 360 version or the PlayStation 3 versions. I'm not sure about the PC version of the game, but you do get yourselves Metal Sonic. In addition to that though, you're actually going to be getting yourselves the extra track here and there too, which I'll show you in just a moment. But even then though, that as far as you guys can clearly tell, that one of these Sonic characters are usually first appearance, well, usually they're unlocked from the get-go. Well, some of them, they need to be unlocked, like Knuckles and Big the Cat, which can be purchased in the shopping mode, in addition to Apol, or Uba from Fantasy Zone, as you can see here. Looks kind of weird in a card formation, kind of thing about it. And also the Choo-Choo, Alex Kidd, Jackie and Okura, and Ryu, Zombio, and Zombico, and Beat and Ooh La La, as well as some others here and there too, like BD Joe, and as well as Mumbo and Robo from the Bonanza Brothers from the Mega Drive. So, and also if you couldn't tell on this particular blue button right there, which is usually forms of the X button, you can actually check on your different status of your character, especially noticeable for these card status. Like for instance, we got ourselves 4 different types of skills. Like, for instance, speed, acceleration, handling, and turbo boost. So you can end up that all depends on the characters you're going to be selecting through, in addition to cards as well. So even end up that you can probably tell which one has the best speed, best acceleration, best handling, and especially best turbo boost. One thing I actually noticed right from the get-go right there is the fact that Banjo and Kazooie actually got himself, you know, the vehicle that is based off from Nuts and Bolts, it got itself a really good speed, or in this case the best speed ever. But even then though, the exception of the acceleration right there. And yeah, I believe if you ever select as the avatar or your Mii's on the Wii version, I think it was assumed to say it might be a little bit balanced. So wow, Dr. Eggman actually got himself his best speed, just like Banjo and Kazooie did. But even then though, that might be a little bit of an ideal way. And also if you press the X button again, oh, wrong button. If you press the X button again, although conveniently enough though, I'm actually going to go to the single race real quickly. Because yeah, as you can tell, if you press the X button again, it'll tell you about the special abilities that these characters do have. Like for instance, Sonic actually got himself Super Sonic, II can perform a Super Monkey Roll, Billy Hatcher can perform an Egg Ralto, and Samba for Samba Tea Party, and Transmission Blast for Oh La La, Tag Jamming from Beat, and Runaway Love, and you know, Forklifting, Working Man or something like that. And you get the idea with these other types of all-star abilities. Now I believe in order to actually perform yourselves, oh I actually really like this one, Jiggy Rain, that all these very recognizable collectibles from Banjo and Kazooie, and Banjo-Tooie as well, and even Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which are the Jiggies. They usually come from fall down to the from the skies, and then Kazooie managed to use his staff, or her staff even I should say, to able to actually just to make those Jiggies come down. So even then I found that to be a really cool all-star. So, but again, in order to actually activate one of those all-star moves is the fact that you need to either go 8th place or 6th place, or I'm not exactly 100% sure about that one. So anyways, let's go ahead and pick as Metal Sonic right there, because that's the part of the DLC stuff we're going to be here for. Now as you can see, I haven't exactly unlocked every single courses yet, Granted, because I haven't usually played this game for a while, ever since almost 5 years ago, so even then though that, you know, originally I did manage to done this game, or actually I think White Hitty did originally done this game before, but now we're going back into it, so, yeah, as you can see right there, we got ourselves our extra course if you manage to purchase yourself some DLC in this game. Again, it can only be happening until when you get the PlayStation 3 version or the Xbox 360 version. As for Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS, it will not able to have that, probably due to the Nintendo's shopping policy or something like that. So anyways, here we go with the egg hanger right there, which again, you managed to get this track alongside with Metal Sonic, of course. So yeah, let's see how this course escalator turns out to be. So of course, this going to be takes place in the Sonic the Hedgehog universe, as far as you already know. And I believe it's going to take place in the Death Egg Zone, very much like where before when Sonic Dimensions, or in this case Lego Dimensions, usually has Sonic the Hedgehog level pack. And especially noticeable in Sonic Generations as well, and Sonic Forces especially as well. Oh jeez, that's quite loud at that beginning part. So anyways, here we have the egg hanger in the Death Egg Zone, and you do have the few selection of music from the get-go, which are essentially, this could be ranging from General Offensive, from Sonic Adventure 1, Never Let It Go from Sonic the Fighters, as soon as I realized, Egg Fleet, Space Gadgets, and Cosmic Falls. So yeah, for the Egg Fleet is heavily borrowed from Sonic Heroes, and Space Gadgets, and especially Cosmic Fall, are heavily borrowed from the likes of Shadow the Hedgehog. Now the music selection I'm going to go for is the forms of General Offensive, because you know how much I felt for Shadow the Hedgehog soundtrack. I found it to be incredibly forgettable, but anyway though. So here we go into the egg hanger. As I mentioned earlier, it takes place in the Death Egg Zone. And if you ever played through, this is before when Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed exist, this track will make a return on that particular game if those of you might have missed it. So even then I thought it was worth mentioning throughout. And also take a notice from during the likes of Bowser Castle from Mario Kart DS is that you can either go to the top part of this path, or simply just go to the bottom part of the level. So I thought it was a little bit interesting, to say much for that. Of course, as far as the character selection goes on this particular version of Xbox 360 version, you have no idea how much characters you're going to be getting on that version. I believe there are about 23 playable characters, which is quite a lot of characters into this roster. And I believe in the Wii version only has 21. Same applies to the PlayStation 3 version, well, because of, you know, Metal Sonic DLC and all that stuff. But I kind of wish it has a Sony PlayStation exclusive playable character on the PlayStation 3 version. But it's not the end of the world, honestly. But even then, because of this, though, I really enjoy this game to death. Even especially noticeable, it depends on what version I'll be playing through. So, but again, not much anything else hazardous is involved in here and there besides these egg ponds and all that stuff. So even then, though, that again, if you want to able to bypass them through them, it's just that you have to simply need to obtain yourself some, you know, speed or boost. Depends on what these little situations involved. So, anywho, though. But even then, though, I believe, I haven't exactly read for this at the moment, but even then, though, according to on the Xbox Live Arcade, or even especially noticeable on the PlayStation Network, in fact, I'm actually going to be looking up until now, until when I decide to able to, you know, explore for this particular stage. But even then, though, that, speaking of such, though, I'm feeling really impressed about this particular level layout as it usually turns out to be, because even then, though, that, well, you know, feels really pleasing to look at, because even then, again, in the Wii version or the DS version, they can't exactly get to this stage because, you know, due to the lack of online services for, you know, both for Nintendo Wii and especially Nintendo DS. But even then, though, technically in the WiiWare, in the forms of Mega Man 9 and especially Mega Man 10, they did at least get themselves the downloadable content on that particular games, as far as I might add. So, anywho though, again, as far as the price amount as far as it will go, oh, that's actually the wrong game, I do apologize for that, because if you did not know already, I'm actually looking up on Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform DLC stuff, but even then, no, we'll get to that, don't worry, until we get to that game until next year, so even then, know that, as far as the Let's Plays department goes. So, anywho though, But yeah, that's all I can really just try to say about this particular, DLC for Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. That, I know there's some couple of them which I think I thought was worth mentioning, but I don't find that to be quite an unnecessary things for me, for my life, though. But it's, is it worth it, though, for this DLC? Oh, I got the achievement, which is Virtual Bronze, so that's interesting. But anyway, though, yeah, is it worth it? Pretty much, yeah, because even then, though, that, well, as far as I can really tell for this little departments and stuff like that, they've sort of managed to realize that, oh, I do apologize for that, folks, because I'm having really trouble finding those, price tags for all these versions in mind. So, anyways, here we go to the shopping mode, which actually provides you to actually purchase, these Sega Miles I've got? That's what the currency of this particular extra stuff comes into play. Like, you do have 3 selection of items you want to buy, like racers. At the moment, I've only got 2, which I said, as I mentioned earlier, BD Joe from Crazy Taxi, and Bobo and Robo from the Bonanza Brothers. So, I could potentially try to unlock those characters before I start the Let's Play, but due to I've already accomplished anything like that, but even, forget it. And you can also purchase your courses you want to actually just manage to either export them again, or you can purchase some of these music. Like, for instance, if I want to purchase myself, muscle purchase, Can You Feel the Sunshine from Sonic R, even though sure it's pretty underwhelming music, I might say, for that game, as well as What You Need from Sonic Rush, and especially noticeable with Party Game 2 from Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, I have to admit, though. And especially some other music here and there too, like Metal Scratching. I believe Metal Scratching is heavily borrowed from Sonic Rush. I'm pretty sure that's what it's at. Next we have is License Mode, which basically tells you about your database that usually comes in within. Like, for instance, the achievements that you've already gone through the Xbox 360 version, or the achievements or trophies in the PlayStation 3 version. There's also these checklists, by the way, for the Wii version and the PC, and I believe the DS version on here and there too. I'm not exactly sure, because I haven't really played the DS version that much. Records, which actually keeps you track of how much percentages you've gone through, like the Grand Prix, missions, and all that stuff, especially achievements especially. As well as Sega Miles that you actually did manage to hold up and spend on. Drive Test is essentially the practice mode of the game. And finally, Collection Mode, which actually tells you about the characters you're actually going to be experienced on, especially courses and even music you want to actually listen to some of the music. And that's about it. So, again, you can actually look up on some of these, or you can actually listen to some of these, background music if whatever you wanted to, and you can able to, select them. Yeah, that's from the Sonic the Fighters, whenever you come across into Person against Metal Sonic on that particular 9th stage. Jeez, that opponent is super tough. So anyways, I mentioned earlier that Banjo's first appearance was actually forms of Diddy Kong Racing, despite it was on the Xbox 360 version of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. Because, Diddy Kong Racing was a Nintendo game, so even though I think this is probably due to the rareware, developing-wise. So even though that makes it a little bit more weird, as far as I might add. And also you do have options, self-explanatory, you can change your configurations of controls, screen resolution, credits, which we'll get into last, and audio, and especially noticeable in other settings here and there too. Especially noticeable you can play multiplayer as well, like split screen, and you can even play this game online, which I believe it still holds up today, even for, I would say, almost 12 years or something like that, or probably 14 years for now, or I don't know, because even then, actually I think it might be 10 years for now. But anyways, yeah, again, not much else we can just probably go for this point, besides, and there's also time trials, which are self-explanatory. You go for these one particular stage, and you can actually compete against with someone online during the likes of your Ghost status. So, especially noticeable in mission mode, as you can see right there, there are a grand total of 64 missions you're going to come across. At the moment, I actually haven't gone through for this point, besides I've almost pretty much done with all of the missions throughout. But the only missions I've actually gone to is the mission number 48 all the way to 58. So I was about 6 missions locked at the moment. But even then, I couldn't show you the mission mode, honestly, because there are some missions that I've sort of liked for the most part. There are some missions I truly despise the most. I mean, you see why in the forms of this particular mission I was talking about. You play as Big the Cat for the entire time, right? And then basically that we have to avoid a lot of parts, and every time you break one of those parts, you lose one of your stars. So even then, that can really ticks me off to no end. Even if you ever played the Wii version of the game, oh my god, I cannot stand that mission right there on the Wii version, because since the Wii version does utilize the motion controls, which it makes it pretty understandable. But anyway, and as you can see right there onto this stars icons, as you can tell, I've got some pretty cool ranks right there, like the triple A's, double A's, and even a singular A. There's also a bunch of other ranks here in that too, like the E rank is the worst one, and if you manage to get either E through B ranks, you cannot proceed the mission unless if you're able to actually get yourselves A or higher than that. The highest ranking will definitely have to be the A rank for surely. See, Fernando, that makes it pretty obvious with the ranking system as far as it will go. So, as well as you guys also there's different sorts of mission tasks throughout, like different mission types, like racing against with someone, which is self-explanatory. Knockouts is where you're able to actually watch your timer until when it counts down to 0, then you pretty much get knocked out and you won't able to continue racing. Kind of like how it does it in, you know, the Shine Runners in Mario Kart DS, as a matter of fact, but except it takes place in battle mode. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm presuming this game also has battle mode, but even then, I haven't really touched upon battle mode, to be honest, because even then, though, I haven't exactly got my friends play with me, so even then, and also I'm pretty much lacking with Xbox 360 controllers, but I digress. So, as you can see, we're actually on the staff credits at the moment right now, so because of this, though, there's not much else I can really talk through the extra stuff of how this game offers to be, besides Metal Sonic DLC. And I'm pretty sure that other DLC packs included, like, Ryu from, you know, Shenmue series actually has the ability to able to get onto the forklift from the get-go, which I haven't exactly purchased that because, I don't know, something about, you know, it's kind of like the exact same thing as the previous encounter with, Ryu. But except the fact that, you know, you're going to be driving onto the forklifting instead of, like, the motorcycle, which I think that's the only noticeable difference between, you know, different variations of Ryu characters. So, anyways, overall, Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing, at least in my opinion though, this was without doubt one of the best non-Mario Kart rip-offs, I might say that much, because even then though, because of this though, that the only version you do recommend though is I'll save that for last, because even then though, first things first, so the staff credits details is that it shows you about the course layouts that it usually contains itself, especially noticeable the creators who actually make this game, and even they actually include the actual own music, and as you can see on the top and the bottom right corner, it says So Much More by Benny Jones, or Stanley Jones. I think that's what it usually calls it. I can't pronounce that very well, folks, because sometimes recording some things can usually just something like, you know, it always brings me up to this really pixelated text here and there, but I don't mind too much. But anyways, overall, this game is really awesome in my opinion, and I should especially highly suggest you able to, but again, I'll save that for later. The visuals do look very, very beautiful. If you ever play this on the Xbox 360 version, it looks absolutely gorgeous. And even especially noticeable that the frame rate runs very, very well. Although it's practically 30 frames per second for the majority of the time. However, though, there are some parts that runs at 60 frames per second sometimes, which I actually really enjoyed. Plus, the track selection is super really fun and pretty hectic and exciting too, especially with the casino park levels. And even then, though, the game as a result is a heck of a lot more fun. So much more better than, say, the bare bones Sonic R, because I found Sonic R to be quite an okay game despite the lack of track layouts and all that stuff, and especially noticeable it's way better than Sonic Drift series because it feels really, really clunky at the same time. Plus the lack of replayability between those racing games. But this game does have a lot of replay value, alongside with Sonic Riders and especially Zero Gravity, but not so much for Sonic 3 Riders because that game is awful. But anyway though, aside from that though, that I actually absolutely going to be able to recommend this game, especially if you're ever a big fan of the racing game genres, myself included, especially if you ever enjoyed Mario Kart's universe, then you should definitely give this game a shot. And I'll say the version you definitely recommend though is the Xbox 360 version, because not only it actually has itself the best graphical fidelity, but also includes Banjo-Kazooie, which is really awesome, and especially noticeable with the DLC as I mentioned earlier, and even you can actually place your own avatar during the racing game, which I think is really cool. So definitely recommend the Xbox 360 version. The Wii version is really good as well, because the only character you can only get in the Wii version is the Miis themselves. But I highly suggest you don't go for the DS version because of, well, the rubber banding AI on that version is terrible, by the way. So thank you so much for guys for watching on this Let's Play of Sonic and SEGA All-Stars Racing. This is me, Piglet here, and until then, next time we meet is the forms of Sonic and All-Stars Racing transformed during 2018. So this is me, Piglet from the Maxi Toys, and until then, you see you guys in the next year for me.